Happy Sunday. How you doing? How's your weekend going so far? Well, the tail end of that storm that worked its way up here in New England, it really didn't amount to shit. Kind of shifted to the west a little bit. Cuts from parts of Rhode Island to the west of us. And even then, they got very little wind, not a whole lot of rain. Here we got a little bit of rain overnight, Friday into early yesterday morning, by like 9 a.m. already. It stopped by 10. Sun was out, hot, humid, and back to summer here, People are flocking back over to the beach again, and life goes on here in New England, and we're enjoying, the tail end of what's left of the summer here. Before it gets cold and freezing and snow and ice, and it fucking sucks, until like late March, Anyway, that's life here in New England. We do get a change of seasons. I mean, we're gonna have that fucking time change coming up and whatnot. That daylight savings time, that makes no fucking... That's what I liked when I was in Arizona for those 3 years before I came back here with Auntie Billy. No daylight savings time, it's the same. You're taking an hour, it's like, take a piece of paper. You cut an inch off the bottom and then you tape it to the top. You still got the same size fucking paper. We still got 24 hours in a fucking day. So what are we fucking saving? Nothing. I don't know why they do that. Anyway. I don't have all the answers to everything. Yeah. People drink, they get a hangover, I got to lift a hangover with a cough. I don't get a headache and want to puke and want to be fucking sleeping all day with an ice pack on my head, you know what I mean? Anyway, so what's going on? I heard that Jabba said he's not going to be working on the Bel Air for a while now. He has to deal with a court case coming up at the end of the month because of something his ex-wife did. He tends to blame his ex-wife for a lot of things, but then again, he blames a lot of other people for a lot of other things too, you know what I mean? Because of his ex-wife, he's got a court case coming up to deal with, so he's going to be busy trying to deal with this court case because of a credit card that he said he has nothing to do with. It was during the time they were married. They've been divorced, 10 years? See, it's only according to what he says. If he didn't put all his personal business out, I wouldn't know this. Nobody else would know a fucking thing. But he freely volunteers all his personal information, and then when people talk about it, he goes off his fucking nut into a full mental meltdown and tells people to mind their fucking business and stop invading his privacy. Huh? Anyway, according to what he said, during the time they were married, she had a credit card that was in her name only. He had nothing to do with it. His name was not on it. Had nothing to do with it. And I guess she didn't pay it off or whatever. And now 10 years later, they're coming after him. That's what he says. From my understanding, I could be wrong. Isn't there something what they call the statute of limitations on debt? Like, even on your credit report, if you welched on any loans, you had a car repossessed, a foreclosure, whatever, it gets wiped off your credit score. And you get a clean slate after 7 years. Unless I'm wrong, that's my understanding from what I've heard and, throughout life with people, and at times, I think they send a collection agency after you and they'll fucking hound you and send you letters and call you. And from what I understand, depending on the amount of the debt, like you take a personal loan at a bank, $3,000-$4,000, you're paying on it for a while, and then up, you stop paying on it, for whatever reason. If you still owe the bank, $400 or $500, they'll send a collection agency after you. For that amount of money, they can, in many cases, they will take people to court and sue you, and then if the person's pissed broke and ain't working, they ain't gonna get the money anyway. You know what I mean? And what it's gonna cost them for a lawyer in some cases, it's not even worth them going after you. And banks have a way of writing it off as a bad loan, whatever. And the bank survives. They're not gonna go fucking bankrupt and broke because somebody doesn't repay a fucking loan. They don't repay a car. Hey, they repossess the car. You don't pay your mortgage, they take your fucking house. You know what I mean? So banks have their ways of doing things. And even then, they take a loss in some areas, but they will pursue it and do the best they can to get the most they can from the person. And, what happens, happens. But unless it's a massive amount of debt, you know. How many people I've known some people, they fucking juggle. They got four. I have one card, a MasterCard, and it's only for emergencies. That's about it, you know what I mean? I've known people, man, they got 3, 4 credit cards. When a bill comes in on this one, they're taking a cash advance on another one to pay it. And all they're doing is using credit cards to pay the minimum balance on them. And these cards, they'll be paying on them for the rest of their fucking life. You know what I mean? That's how some people choose to live. They don't know how to work their finances to where they're not always in some sort of debt, you know. Hey, it's their life, let them. You know, I'm not paying their bills, so I don't give a fuck. But I just find it odd, you know, where to go after someone that's not tied to it, associated in any way. I know there's something called marital debt. If you buy something together, you know, and then the spouse can be responsible in some areas. Yeah, I watch Judge Judy once in a while, you know what I'm saying? But it usually comes to a purchase, and it's in both names. You know what I mean? I know some states have some strange laws. But with credit cards, it's the person that signed off on the card. They can't touch the other person that's not tied into it. Even if in some states they're allowed to, which is a possibility. After 7 years, any debt on that card's going to be wiped out. You know, all this time I'm sure it's gone on his ex-wife's credit report. You know, delinquent is being recorded. You know, collection agency is being ignored. No payments are being made. Oh yeah, it's really damaging the fuck out of that person's credit. And after 7 years, even that is bye-bye. So anyway, he's saying, you know, he's too preoccupied dealing with an upcoming court case that he doesn't understand why they're coming after him. It was his wife's credit card, and now they're coming after him 10 years later. Okay. I know what you're thinking I'm going to say, right? I could speculate. I'm quite sure that what I would speculate is the same thing that you are most likely speculating. That it's possible that he's just saying this. It really doesn't have anything to do with a credit card. It could possibly have something to do with the ongoing pre-foreclosure procedure that's getting closer and closer and closer to the foreclosure. Only speculation. Only speculation. Anyway, hope your weekend's going good so far. Hope it continues until midnight tonight when it ends. Today's my last Uncle Brian Lifter day until next weekend. And see you again sometime.